interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Boom! Headshot!
Hey, it's Clay. How are you guys doing? And this time I wanted to do more of a behind-the-scenes video, kind of an instructional tutorial type video about how to actually post gameplay videos to YouTube. I get some questions every once in a while about how you do this, how you do that, audio, video, all that jazz. I just kind of wanted to walk through it, the process step by step of how I personally make videos and post them to YouTube that are gameplay related. This will apply both to people who are using Xbox or PS3 and PC. I will make it, general enough that all the steps are the same. I mean, there's really only one deviation. But let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you need to do is capture your gameplay footage. Now, if you're on console, let's start with that. If you're on console, you need to have some sort of HD PVR. That's a personal video recorder. If you just do a Google search for HD PVR, you'll get definitely some good choices. Hauppauge makes some really good ones. I actually do have a Hauppauge HD PVR. It's a fantastic choice. It's kind of the industry standard. Roxio makes some ones I'm sure you guys have probably seen. Their game capture cards. I almost guarantee it. They've got some stuff down here. Just do some Google searches for some HD PVRs, and you will find what you need. I believe the Roxios are a little bit more affordable, but probably not quite as feature-laden or as high quality. The Hauppauges are definitely the industry standard, though. You're going to want to make sure that it is capable of recording HD video. I feel like I don't know if it's necessarily an absolute requirement, but I definitely feel like moving forward, a lot more people are starting to watch videos in HD, and it's definitely going to be something that you want to do if you're going to want to make a long-term investment into this. So you're going to want an HD PVR. Now, each PVR has a little bit of a different quirk in terms of use. Most of them will actually come with a piece of software included. My Hauppauge comes with one. It's called, I don't even know what it's called. I actually use iTV on my MacBook when I use my HD PVR, but I actually mostly do PC stuff now. So I'm going to refer you to find something else dealing with your specific PVR, but generally the steps is that Total Media Extreme. Sorry. That's what comes with the Hauppauge. So basically you open up the software, you hit record, and then it will actually display the screen on your TV. So your PVR essentially. So if you have an Xbox 360, instead of plugging the 360 into the TV, you plug the 360 into the PVR, and then the PVR plugs into the TV. So it kind of is the middleman. And basically, the PVR funnels the video. It splits it. One channel goes to the TV, and that's what you play on, and the other channel goes to your PC, and that's what you record on. So you capture your video that way. I'm not necessarily going to go really deep into how to use Total Media Extreme, but just look up some other tutorials that are specific to your piece of hardware. But basically, you plug it in, you set it all up, and you hit record video. It's pretty much as simple as that. Now, if you're on PC, you need to come up with some sort of software solution. There are actually a lot of different ways to skin the cat. But I'm just going to talk about what I use specifically. I've tried a number of different software solutions, and I have found that Dxtory works best for me. Dxtory is you have to purchase it, and it is an extremely powerful and recording software tool. You can take screenshots, you can record video. These are the settings that I use. I'm just going to run all the way through. I like to have record status. You got to set up your folders. Those are the key bindings I use, and this is kind of the important stuff here. I use the same settings for all my games, but I do use the Dxtory video codec. There's a lot of stuff to get into with codecs that I don't really understand, but they can really change, your quality and your compression rates and your file sizes. But the Dxtory video codec is perfectly fine. I like to use medium quality. Basically what this does is if you use true quality, if you capture like a 10-minute Battlefield 3 gameplay in 1080p, your file size is going to be like 200 gigs. I mean, it's just a gigantic. Right now, so I just took this one. It was 32 gigs. Is that right? Yeah, 32 gigabytes. That's a crazy big, and that's at medium quality. So if you do true quality, It's a really, really big file. So I would recommend either using high or medium quality and using the compress option, simply for the fact that it creates smaller video files. Because I have, on my computer, I have a terabyte here called the Beast that I used to house all my videos and all my games, and it's constantly filling up. This is my library of unused gameplay footage, and there's not a ton here, and I've got some more room, but the files are really big. So if you're on PC, be mindful of that. Consider, bumping down the quality just a little bit. Now, in terms of frame rates, I like to capture at 30 just because you can also capture at 60. If you want to capture at 120, you're pretty amazing. Maybe if you're capturing an older game like CS Source. Personally, I think 30 frames is fine. I don't want to play at 30 frames, but in terms of watching a video, 30 frames is usually not a problem. Again, keeps the file sizes a little bit smaller. I like to keep it at 100%. My monitor resolution is 1080p, so I know that my video sizes are 1080p. If you want, you can scale it back to 720p. Then you would use this percent sign and just kind of do the math there and figure that out. But there's a lot of customization and functionality. If you play in a window, you can use some of these margins to figure that out. But it can be a really powerful program. You can also choose a lot of different sound. I actually capture sound from 2 different places in case I do a live commentary. Just makes it really easy. You've got screenshot. You've got all these advanced settings. Actually, some of these can be really helpful. Like this permanent hook can be helpful for CPU processing. Definitely increasing this up to 4 can be helpful. There's a lot of really good choices. Basically, DX3 is awesome because it offers a ton of functionality. Fraps is another choice. I actually also have Fraps. I've had it for a long time. I'm using Fraps right now to capture this video on my desktop. MSI Afterburner is another choice. It's actually free, so check that one out if you don't want to pay for anything. MSI Afterburner is definitely a solid choice. I have had problems with it, getting it to be useful with Sony Vegas, so be mindful of that if you use Sony Vegas. But MSI Afterburner, Fraps, DX3, those are probably more of the industry standards. Fraps is a little bit more basic. You don't have all the customization options. You go 30 frames. You capture in the resolution of your screen. But it gets the job done. It definitely will work. I feel like Fraps is a little bit more, so when I'm playing a game on PC and I'm using Fraps, it cuts my frames down, maybe 5 to 10 frames per second, whereas DX3 is just a little bit more hard drive intensive. Like you need to have a hard drive with a really fast write speed if you want to get really high quality videos. So anyways, I probably talked a little bit too long about this, but there's a lot of different choices. DX3 is good. I use it a lot. Fraps is good. MSI Afterburner is good. They're all good choices. So, next step. So you have your video file. This is one of the video files that this was an Aftermath, Battlefield 3 Aftermath gameplay that I just recorded. You have this raw video file. Now you need to capture your audio. Now the way that I do this is I use Sony Vegas. This is my Movie Maker program. You can use Windows Movie Maker. I've used that in the past. It's free. Sony Vegas is good. There's a lot of choices out there. I'm not going to go into them all. But what I like to do is load the video into Sony Vegas. I also use an intro, which I created. So basically it's like this, and I can remove this track. So this is my gameplay audio. I want to really cut that down so that you're not hearing explosions really loudly. About negative 18 dB is usually good. So basically what I'm doing right now is telling Sony Vegas to run my intro and then go on to this Battlefield 3 gameplay. Now usually what I do is, now it's time to record your audio. So let's just kind of review. You have your video file, you've loaded it into your movie making program. If you have an intro, you've loaded that. If you don't, it's fine. You just be mindful of that. Now we need to create your commentary audio over top. Now, in order to do this, you need to have a mic. Now, if you're going to use like a laptop mic, I think that probably would be very much not something I could recommend. If you have like a headset, like an Xbox headset, that will work just fine. I know a lot of guys use their headset mics. I personally am using my Turtle Beach. I think they're the X31s. I am using that microphone right now to record this commentary. That will work totally fine. I know like the Blue Snowball is like a $100 mic that you can get at Guitar Center. It's kind of the industry standard in terms of YouTube commentators. There's a lot of good choices, but basically you're going to want some sort of microphone to pick up your voice. It's just going to make you sound a lot more clear, a lot more professional. You want one that has the little foam around the mic so it doesn't pick up the little P sound every time you make that syllable. You're going to want a microphone. You're definitely going to want a microphone. A lot of good choices. Just do a little bit of research on that. You really don't have to spend a ton of money. If you've already got a headset, you can use that. But what I'm coming down to is don't just use your MacBook's internal microphone. That's probably not going to be a great choice. You're going to get a lot of external noise. So now you need something to capture your audio. I use Audacity. I'm using it right now. Audacity is a completely free-to-use software program. It's very, very easy and straightforward to use. It's perfect for this application. I might actually have a little bit of a problem showing you how to use it if I'm actually recording. Let's go ahead and try to open up a new one. Okay, so basically with Audacity, the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have the correct devices set up. And the way to do that is to go Edit Preferences, and then you want to go to let's see here, where is it? Devices, I believe. Okay, yep. So you want to go to your devices. Now, don't worry so much about this, but this one right here, your recording device, is extremely important. I currently have my mic plugged into my motherboard's stock input, microphone input, and that's totally fine. Basically, what I would recommend you guys do if you don't really know what's going on with this is just kind of select the first one, hit OK, and then go here, and you're going to want to hit this record button, and then just do like mic check, hit stop, listen back. If you hear your voice, then you're right. But if you don't, go back to preferences and try a different one. Just keep going down the line until you find the input device that your microphone is connected to. So basically what I do at this point is I hit record, I go to Sony Vegas, and I hit play. And so my gameplay is running. It's going to be really choppy right now because I'm doing a ton of other things and I'm also rendering a video. But I watch the gameplay through here on this little screen, and I record my commentary audio here. Basically, this just gives me a guide if I ever want to say like a little comment about, oh, I just domed that guy. I can do that. So it's a little bit more like I'm watching the video with you guys. You could, if you want, just record straight to here and not watch the video. It's totally up to you. There are advantages to both. But that's just how I do it. So then when you're done, you're going to want to hit stop. Then you're going to want to do a couple of different things to optimize your audio. So basically, when you're looking at this is the audio track that I'm recording live right now. You can see if I talk really quietly, you see how the wave files here are very small. Whereas if I talk really loudly, they get bigger. Basically, you want to minimize the difference between the small part and the big part as much as possible. And how you do that is you use a compressor. So pretend right now that you've hit stop, double-click on your audio file, so it all selects it in blue or black. Go to Effect, and then you're going to click on the compressor. Then the compressor will pop up. You don't really need to change any settings, just hit OK. And basically what a compressor does is it raises the soft parts and it limits the high parts. So when you speak quietly, it will actually boost that volume, and when you speak really loudly, it will actually limit that volume. So everything is a little bit more at the same level. It just makes it a lot easier to listen to. If you've ever listened to commentaries where you feel like the guy talks too quietly at some parts but then too loudly at other parts, it's because he failed to use any sort of compressor. Now, this compression is definitely nice. It's helpful, and it will also help raise your levels so that your levels aren't too low. Basically, you want to make sure that your output of your audio is not too quiet. That's what I mean when I say levels. Now, you can also do what is called noise removal. This is a little bit more optional. I'm going to have a hard time showing you guys how to do this as I'm capturing live. So I'm going to go ahead and actually stop commentating. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then I'll restart and exemplify it. So, okay, let's do this. Mic check 1, mic check 1. Okay, so basically I'm going to explain what I just did. So I recorded some audio, and then what the noise removal does is you select a part of your audio that is not including your voice, so it's just kind of dead time. It will actually give you, and there's always going to be a little bit of white noise, there's going to be a little bit of room noise, there's going to be a little bit of like crackling, hissing, or whatever. That's just kind of the way that audio works. And you want to remove that. So when you highlight this part at the beginning where you're not actually speaking, that's all you're doing is targeting that noise that you want to remove. Then you go to Effect, you hit Noise Removal, and then you click Get Noise Profile. And that will actually create what is called the noise profile. So it's just that, just select a few seconds of noise, Audacity knows what to filter out. Very, very simple. Then once you click, let's do that again, you click on Get Noise Profile. Then you double-click the entire track, and then you go back to noise removal and hit OK. So basically, that will remove any of that white noise, background noise. It's just a really helpful thing to do. You can clean up your audio so there's no annoying hissing in the background. It'll be very crystal clear. And that's pretty much all you need to do in terms of editing your audio track. Then you can go ahead and click File, Export, name it whatever you want, save it wherever you want, and then you have your audio file. So now let's go back to your video editing program. I'm using Sony Vegas, and basically now we have a video file which we captured of our gameplay, and we have our audio commentary which we want to put over top. So I'm just going to grab an old commentary that I made. So basically at this point it's all about, if you want to do any last editing, make sure that your audio commentary starts at the right time. It's about good. You want to make sure that the gameplay audio is not too loud, so use the volume slider to lower the volume of the gameplay so that when you shoot your gun it doesn't overpower your voice. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a lot more you can do in terms of video editing that I'm not going to go into, but that's pretty much the basics. Now you've got your video, you've got your audio, you've synced them together, and then at this point all you need to do is export the video, and that's pretty much about it. Now in your export settings you need to be mindful of, I'm going to just go ahead and show you a little bit about this. It's important to actually, so I have a template here that I created, but the first time you do this you're going to want to make sure that your frame size matches your, so if you're recording in 1920 by 1080, and that would be based on your resolution of your screen and also what program you're using. And you're also going to want to make sure your frame rate matches. So if you guys remember in DxTree, I was recording at 1080p, 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames per second. 29.97 is very close to that. You basically just want to make sure that your render settings match your video as close as possible. You don't really need to touch your audio settings at all. They're going to be totally fine stock. So that's pretty much it. Then you save your video and you upload it to YouTube, and then you make tons of YouTube money. Yeah, just joking. Overall, though, that's pretty much it for my tutorial. Sorry if it got a little bit long-winded, but I wanted to make sure it was detailed enough for any newer guys to make sure that it was helpful for you, that I covered it all in depth as possible. I really enjoy doing YouTube, and I want to help any of you guys out who are looking to get into it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial, and I will see you soon.